So this is my first video I'm making. I'm planning on making like a few about social anxiety and different ways of overcoming it, and any progress or helpful things that I find that help me. And because I've been, sorry, my thoughts everywhere. I've been watching a few people on YouTube, and they just, their daily or weekly sort of updates about how they feel and how things affect, how they respond to things that have affected them and how they deal with things, and I've found it so useful, just really helpful. And I think it's really good as well to let off, to talk about anything that you're having, to just get it out. And so I want to make these to get things out of me, and hopefully someone might be able to pick up something that they find useful. Like, I know in so many videos I'll see something and be like, oh, that's a really good way of looking at it, and it's really helped me. So I thought I would firstly talk about like my history of social anxiety, like when it first started and how long it's been going on for. And I was gonna say like a particular defining, I was really trying really hard to think of a particular moment when it started, because I've been listening to a lot of people on YouTube talking about like they've been a, oh, I can't speak, there's been a situation that they've been in that's changed, that's started it off, and that changed them in that way, if that makes sense. And I've thought about this a lot, and I've really tried hard to think of like a moment when someone was mean to me or something happened, but I really can't think of anything. I have lots of memories of being anxious and uncomfortable around people, going back to really young, but there's no particular moment that I can think that started it, which is a bit frustrating, but you know, it's not really, I can deal with it without knowing what caused it, I think. Ever since I was young, I've felt really uncomfortable and self-conscious, really self-conscious and embarrassed around people. Like, I remember when I was younger and we had to go out of the house, and I hated going out of the house so much. Like, we had to go to the library. I was like, I really don't want to go to the library because you have to go out and people look at you, and I really didn't like being looked at, and sometimes the librarian would talk to you. I hated being talked to because I didn't know what to say, and so there's all that kind of, I've generally grown out of that, I think. Like, I'm fine with going to the library. Well, I say fine, I prefer, I can deal with it more without breaking down, if that makes sense. Videos become really scattered of like thoughts going everywhere. I try to plan it out in a logical order. Look, I have a plan, nice plan, but I haven't really stuck to it, so I'll just try my best to just say everything I need to, and I'm really sorry if it's really all over the place. What was I going to say? Yeah, I don't know the exact moment when I developed social anxiety, or I just know I've always generally felt uncomfortable around people that I'm not close to. Yeah. And I only really discovered I had social anxiety about 6 weeks ago, where on a whim I was on Wikipedia, and you know how you go from like looking up something and then you're like, oh, click on this thing as well, and then you get really sidetracked. Well, I was looking up something, and one of the things was, one of the like also was social anxiety. And I thought, I'm really interested in psychology, so I thought I would just have a look. And I think it was on Wikipedia, I'm not sure, I think it was. And everything it said on the page just seemed to apply to me. And I was like, wow, this is actually me. Like it was saying about, I wrote it down in my diary where it said, the symptoms match how I feel. They include things like intense fear of being judged, speaking aloud, self-consciousness, etc. I feel I experience social anxiety in lots of different ways. It's not just when talking to people. I don't experience it with everyone. My family is kind of a hit and miss thing. Sometimes I'm really, like, I'd say my brother is the only person I'm really 100% comfortable around all the time, because we get on really, really well. We've just been always really close and understanding of each other. And my mum, most of the time we get on really well, but I don't even know why I'm going on about this. This really isn't relevant. So yeah, my family, most of the time, I'd say 60–70% of the time I'm fine. Sometimes I get a bit really, really anxious about whether I'm like a good daughter and will do like everything to please them, and even when it's like, I don't know. My friends, generally when I'm with them I feel fine, but when I'm away from them and have to talk over Facebook, or I'm in a big like party and they're the only people I know, I feel really, really self-conscious. So that's generally my relations with my friends and family. With my friends, I know I should be fine, and they're just really lovely, and they've never like hurt me, and they're all really nice, and so I feel really bad for being anxious in situations when I'm with them. I really can't help it. I just like, I'm always really, really self-conscious of what I say, and sometimes I'll plan out sentences before I say them to make sure they're not too hurtful, not too like bossy, or if that makes sense. A lot of the time this self-consciousness makes me feel really, really, really claustrophobic. Like, I'm so stifled by my own judgment of myself that I just go completely quiet. And at least if I don't say anything, then I can't judge myself on what I've said. But then I start judging myself and being quiet, and I think, oh, just really, I think that is a really big thing that I need to work on, like judging what I say.